What is going on, guys? I am quickly trying to, I had to do this a little bit different. Let's see, trying to link over to the correct spot here. Let me share this link. All right, I think we got some people on here now. Like I said, I tried to schedule it, did not work out that way. So now I am on here. Thanks for tuning in. Super excited to try this live. And obviously, if you have any questions while throughout this preview, it's going to be really similar to how I would normally do it. So if you have questions throughout the video, just throw something in the chat. Appreciate the likes. If you are a new subscriber to our channel, you've not been here before, make sure you check that out. All right, let's get into the slate. So we have a Saturday night showdown here again with the Dolphins and the Raiders. Dolphins are 9-5. They need 2 wins here to clinch. So the Dolphins come in at -3. The over/under is 50.5. Now we do have a lot of injury news still to come out on this slate. And if you've kind of been at least paying attention or building, you've seen a lot of questionable tags on Devontae Parker, Gesicki, and Grant at 3,000. Now, that's going to change a lot on this slate. Now, if somebody sees somebody in or out on this slate with those questionables, if the injury report comes out while I'm doing this, shoot that in the chat, and then we can adjust on the fly here. So, again, thanks for the listeners. I greatly appreciate it. So this slate, not many slates, and I can't screen share, but I'm going to be talking through the builds here. And again, at the end, I'll say my 3 favorite cash plays, 2 favorite values, and my fade. Darren Waller is the most expensive player at 10,600. It is not the best matchup for him, but it is pretty insane that he has 39 targets in the last 3 games. So it is really hard to ignore that. And I don't think that because it's the end of the season, they're not going to continue to go to Waller. Now, 10,600, can you afford it? I think you can, because typically most of these slates, you're dealing with a player that's at like 12,000. So here you're already, working a little bit back. But I do think I would prioritize both the quarterbacks first as a cash builder over going right to Waller. I think Waller is a phenomenal play, but I love Tua. And I think they're going to lean on him, continue to lean on him. Derek Carr for even cheaper. Yes, he got injured last game. He does not carry any injury designation going into this game. So I think, all 3 of those 10K players are fine and easily able to get in cash. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. You have Josh Jacobs at 9,800. Last game just torched the Chargers, 26 carries, 76 yards, had a touchdown, had 20 and a half DK. I think that he is definitely in play at 9,800, and I'm not really, too afraid to go away from him. I think I would rather have Carr or Tua. And then if it's Waller or Jacobs, I prefer Waller if I have the salary, but if I need to go down to Jacobs, I can. Okay, the next dilemma of this slate is now that Miami's getting healthy, they have Gaskin back and Ahmed. Well, Gaskin last played in Week 13 against Cincinnati, where he had 21 carries, 90 yards. Caught a couple long balls through the air, but was really their best running back most of the season, right? And then Ahmed has kind of taken over some of that role, and when Ahmed has taken over that role, he's played well too. So we don't really know. I would think that Gaskin's going to be the starter, but I think it could definitely be a timeshare. And at 84 and 8,200, even in a really good matchup against the Raiders, I think there's some implied risk, taking one of those two, where if you can somehow lock in the top 4, Jacobs, Carr, Tua, and Waller, you might feel a little bit better. I understand that obviously the Dolphins are favored here, and have more riding on this game. So I don't know that you want to spend, 3 guys of 9.5K up on the Raiders. But so let's continue to go down. So if you get to Devontae Parker, 7,600, if he is in, I think he is too cheap. I think the Dolphins are still going to try to run the ball, but we do know that Devontae Parker obviously is their best receiver when he's healthy. So I think if he's in, I do really like him at 7,600. Nelson Aguilar, too, he has over the last 3 games 28 targets. So, 7,200 for that kind of target share is a really nice price tag as well. Get down to Gesicki. So Gesicki, Parker, and Grant are all questionable, but I have a feeling they're all going to play. Because they did not elevate anybody from the practice squad before 4 p.m. yesterday, whatever that deadline was, that they were going to make any major changes. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't still hold somebody out because they don't work out well before the game. But I think if they do that, then they're just going to work within the people they have, which would be like Lynn Bowden, Hollins, and Ford. So I think if Parker, Grant, or Gesicki is out, you're going to see an upgrade to Ford. Obviously, Bowden we saw play really well last week. I think it's Smythe and Shaheen. And you could see, and Hollins too. So you're going to see those guys get upgraded. So we don't have that full injury report yet. But once we get that full injury report, I think it's going to be really important to be able to check back and see, because if obviously Parker and Gesicki are out, I think you do go down and you lock in Bowden Jr. at 4,600 is a phenomenal play. And I think, honestly, he's going to get some run even if some of the other guys are in. I think they like what they saw with him last week. And I think there's something that they can use from him here finishing out the season. So I really like Bowden at 4,600 as well. Ruggs is activated off the COVID list, 5,200. I think, they haven't made the official that he's going to be active tonight. He is a little bit more boom or bust for me at 5,200. Obviously, we know he's fast and he's got that big play ability. And I think if he's in, it takes a little bit away from Aguilar, but not a ton. Sanders and Carlson are phenomenal values as kicker plays per usual. You know me, if you've been listening to my content long enough, that in cash, I always don't mind the kickers. If we go down here to Jakeem Grant, he could certainly pay off that $3,000 price tag if he is active tonight. I think, he's never seen more than 6 targets in a game, but the 3 to 5 is a pretty safe bet. And at 3,000, you'd probably be looking for anywhere from like 5 to 7 points. You'd probably be pretty happy. This is where I'm talking about the value here. Somebody potentially like Mac Hollins, if the other guys are out, he's definitely in play. Somebody like Isaiah Ford or Smythe. And then Shaheen here is at 1,400. So these are all guys that are right now really just GPP values to me until we get the injury news. I don't think you can play too much into what the Dolphins are going to look like from a passing game until we get some of those injury news. Matt Breida is going to be out, or not out, but out of the picture, essentially, if Ahmed and Gaskin are both active. Booker and Richard are the backup running backs for the Raiders. They're priced at 1,200 and 1,000 respectively. They just haven't really been that involved lately as much as like Booker was involved early on. If you think they somehow like limit Jacobs' touches for some reason, then sure, he could be in play. Or if you think they're chasing, but I think even sometimes in chasing times, we're seeing Jacobs still be on the field. So, all right, let's go over recap. My 2 favorite cash plays are Carr and Tua, and then third kind of being a choice between Jacobs and Waller. I don't think you need to play all or both of those stud Raiders players, but I do think for the price per dollar and what we know for their role, you're going to get the most equity out of those guys. If you go down a little bit further, my favorite values are probably the kickers for right now until we get that injury news, or I really like Lynn Bowden Jr. And if you ever got a chance to watch him in college, like just a phenomenal player, like played quarterback, but they ran it every other play. He's just an athlete. He's a freak. So, when you have athletes like that on the field, whether you have injuries or not, you find ways to get those guys the ball. And last week, Lynn Bowden Jr. had, 6 catches on 7 targets, a lot of short passes, had a rushing attempt. So I don't. In the game before that, he had 7 catches on 9 targets. So, and yeah, the yardage wasn't huge, but they're trying to get him the ball, get some yards after catch. So I love Lynn Bowden Jr. at 4,600. Unless we get every other receiver is in for Miami, that definitely would downgrade him a little bit. And then you could just go supplant yourself with Sanders or Carlson at the kickers. Like I said, the values after that are really difficult. For right now in cash, my fade is the running game for the Dolphins, unless I get some more clarification that Gaskin is going to be the guy and not have to split. Now, can Gaskin get there at 8,400? He can still score a touchdown. He can still run for 50, 60 yards, catch a couple balls, and there you go. He's at 15 points. I'm just a little bit hesitant in cash to go there with not knowing what that workload is going to look like. So, again, appreciate the support. If you have any questions right now, throw them in the chat. I'm just going to kind of like build a mock-up lineup here. If you go, like, say the cheapest of those 4 guys at captain. So say you go Jacobs at captain, which I think you prefer probably get to a quarterback in cash if you can do that. Say if you locked in all 4 of those top guys. Now, those are 3 big Raiders plays, right? So I don't know that that's where you want to end up. You're at 2,100 left. So if, say, Devontae Parker is out, and then you go down and you lock in somebody like Isaiah Ford at 1,600, you can go back up and get, someone like Mac Collins or almost back up to Grant. Now, I don't think it's going to be optimal to lock in all 4 of those guys. I think it's going to be more optimal to lock in 3 of them. And then if you lock in, for example, let's put 2 at captain, and then we play Derek Carr, and then I will go Waller, and I'll be fading right now someone like Jacobs. And let's just say I put in both kickers, which again was a super popular build this afternoon. That gets me up to 6,400. It leaves me a little bit short. So I would likely need to go somewhere like instead of Waller, go down to Jacobs and plus both the kickers. Then you can get up to Nelson Aguilar. Really like that lineup. You're getting you're still missing out on the pieces that what could potentially be for Miami. But until we know the receiver situation with Miami, I don't think I want to plug in any of those other skill guys yet. So throw some questions in the chat. Again, I appreciate the support, guys. If you have not checked out our other content at Fantasy Sports Insight, we are putting out content all the time, and we're super excited to continue that. I will have a Sunday night showdown out for tomorrow night and Monday night as well, and then we will cover all of the showdown playoff games as well. So any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll hang out here for another minute or so unless we get really busy in the chat. But otherwise, again, I really appreciate the support. So hoping that, this lineup that I have going on for this game right now, Robbie Gould misses his first kick inside of 50 in his last 31 attempts or something like that. So I need him to outscore James, the third or fourth receiver for the Niners. And I live the head-to-head life, so it's a 1v1. But all right, I am going to sign out. I don't see any questions in the chat. Otherwise, it's not working. But again, I appreciate the support, guys. Hopefully next time I will be able to just use the link that I shared out earlier. Thanks for being able to pivot and adjust. And we will hopefully see you back at our channel tomorrow night. Thanks.